Well, there's a lot of great agencies out there that help keep us safe, to make sure that things go better than what they did in the years past, whether it be cleaner air, cleaner water, safer roads, better curriculum at our local schools. But I believe that government, or especially politicians, can't take care of all the problems out there. And that's why our campaign has launched what we call the Citizens Responsibility Initiative. And that's where we as citizens can take a better role in where our taxpayer dollars are being spent. Like any of our local institutions that use taxpayer dollars, they usually have a board set up. These boards may be appointed by, like here, our fiscal court, or maybe our city leaders, or whoever. But if it's our taxpayer dollars, we should demand more accountability and transparency about how this money is being spent. And this is all in lieu of the Kentucky League of Cities, the Keiko scandals, Dismiss, and several other of these non-profit or for-profit institutions that have been misusing the taxpayers' dollars. I just spoke recently at a Tea Party meeting. They had heard about this initiative and wanted me to come speak to their local group. And I did, and it was funny because I don't think they quite heard it. And it may be because they were a little glazed over about what party I stand for, whatnot. But the one gentleman asked me, he says, "You sound like me, you're for bigger government." I said, "Sir, it's called a Citizens Responsibility Initiative." I said, "The agencies are already there. Maybe they're not doing their job as well as they could, but it's up to us as citizens to demand more of a role, to demand more accountability." So you can go to my website, Ed Marksberry 2010. We actually have a petition where we're actually asking the local hospital board to adopt Crit Luau and our state auditors suggested guidelines for nonprofits. And what I like about what Crit has done, it actually gives them a great guideline to keep them out of trouble, number one, but also to make sure the money is being spent in the right way and that the taxpayers can actually have access to see how the money is being spent. So if you ask me, government plays an important role, but we as citizens have got to start taking a more active role, number one, by being informed, and number two, by being involved.
Just sort of generally speaking, do you think, there's a lot of talk about big government, and you said that the one gentleman asked you about that, is this expanding government? Generally speaking, is the federal government too big? Is it too small? Does it sit back too much? Is it too involved? Generally speaking, what are your thoughts on those?
Well, immediately it goes back to cozy relationships again. I feel like in lieu of what happened with BP, as we spoke a little bit earlier on, I believe there's a lot of that going on, and it happens over time. You got to remember, there was 8 years of the Bush administration. When Obama came into office, these agencies were already playing the role that they were. So, one thing I have to say about Obama, I think he's done a lot in the 18, 19 months that he's been in office. But as these problems started popping up, all of a sudden it looked like it was his fault. And there again, this goes back to the Bush administration, the policies and the tone that they had set. So is the federal government too big? Maybe it is. Is it too small? I don't think it's too small, but I do believe they could do a better job of enforcing their rules, number one, and also we've got to figure out some way to where there's no longer that cozy relationship with the corporate interest out there.